Hi. What's up, gentlemen?
Howdy.
Indeed. Welcome.
Hello.
What's going on out there in YouTube land
Chatland.
and Chatland? What's going on? How's everybody doing? We're starting a new project today. We've got a lot to do to get into it. So we will see who joins us and who doesn't. Jonathan, how you been?
I've been okay.
You're very quiet today.
Been okay.
Okay.
I am quiet.
All right. This is the introduction of our, this is the introductory screen to our reading of Pirkei Avot. Hello, Michael. What's up out there? Today is September 15th, 2025. It's been a tough week. It's kind of weird that I always think maybe the next week's going to be better, but then it turns out not to be. So, whew. Well, let's get started. First of all, I want to show you. I'll show you at the top that. Okay, so this is this font right here is made to look like the text of the Aleppo Codex, and this is made to look like how the text looks by a scribe who writes out the the Bible texts by hand. So this is what we're looking at. It's pretty. Thank you so much to those of you who sign up on Patreon and join us. I'm sorry to have put the links up so late today. I was out and didn't expect to be. So here we go. This is our schedule for this week. We're doing first hour Hebrew reading from Pirkei Avot. That's what we're starting right now. We're going to try to make it through the first chapter before the 13th of October, when we can start the new Torah reading cycle for Parashat Shavua. The second hour, we're doing our biblical Hebrew composition. I know it's a challenging course, but I do hope that some people will find it interesting enough to maybe write their own stuff in the comments and at least watch along with us. And in the third hour for patrons, we are doing modern Hebrew. Right now, we're using Hebrew from scratch, and Colton's joining in, and Donovan, and hopefully we've got a few others who are interested in speaking and learning to use Hebrew.
I will have a question for you during third hour today about the chapter I'm on, not the one that we're on collectively, but the one that I'm on, that I read last night.
12.
Of Ivrit Min HaChatala.
I think you're going to finish up the book in just a minute.
Do what?
I think you're going to finish up the book in just a minute.
No, I'm not. I'm only halfway through, but
yeah.
I slowed down a little last few weeks, but there is one of the sections. I have no idea what it's asking, and I cannot. Right. It's just a way that it's saying it, and then one of them's like, which one of these would be used formally and which ones wouldn't, and I just don't have a real good feel
we'll
for
take
that.
A look.
Yeah, it won't take 5 minutes, but yeah.
I will also say hi back to Adel, who is in the live chat up there. This picture is something that AI produced for me. I'm sorry that I have to use AI because I can't do a lick of art or afford to pay somebody to do it for me. So this is an easy way to do it. There are several symbols of this chapter in the picture. So I wonder if we could look at it and try to identify some themes of the chapter before we get started. Colton, I know that you've spent some time reading in it this week, right?
I've read over some of the notes and stuff that you've had, and some of that you've made, and just kind of perusing the different things. But yeah.
Well, I will mention real quick then that if you're not on Discord, then you're losing out. No, I posted my notes for readers on Discord and the Biblical Hebrew section. And basically I went through all 18 verses of the chapter and just made little notes on the grammar and roots and all of that stuff. So if you are interested and you want to follow along with us, go sign up on thehebrewcafe.com/Discord, and you'll be able to access those notes. And if you don't see them, let me know and I'll send them to you on there. So what we're looking at is, first of all, what mountain do we think this is?
Sinai?
Mount Sinai. In Hebrew, you don't call it Sinai, you call it Sinai. Sinai. Another name for the mountain is Horeb, in English, Horeb, which is a horrible name, but
Ha! Good.
it's Horeb. And Sinai. It's funny because Sinai looks like in modern Hebrew Sini, which is Chinese, but it's Sinai. Yeah. Okay, so this is Mount Sinai. This is where what happened with Moses on Mount Sinai?
He received the Torah.
According to the story in the Bible, yes. So there's rays of light coming out of the mountain because this is the place where God appeared to Moses and gave him the Torah. In the Bible, it's specifically mentioned that God revealed Torah to him, and it says that Moses wrote it down in a book. A lot of people take that to be Deuteronomy, I guess. But in Jewish tradition, not only did God give Moses Torah and the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, but he also gave him a way of interpreting the Bible, the oral Torah, and how to render decisions about questions that will arise throughout the generations about how to keep the Torah, how to make it alive by having a reasoning associated with the Torah. Some people think that God gave Moses the entirety of all the decisions that anyone would ever make. And some think it's just like a set of principles on how to interpret and how to deal with things as the generations roll on. So anyway, this is Moses. Moses is also not Moses in Hebrew, but Moshe, right? Moshe, rather than Moses. Okay, Moses, what did he get on Mount Sinai? He got Torah. Okay, and Moses, when he was ready to die, right, he gave the power of interpreting the Torah to Joshua. So Moses handed it on to his servant. Joshua is called Misharet Moshe, the servant of Moses. And when Joshua was ready to go, then he gave it to the elders of Israel, and the elders of Israel passed it on to the prophets. And so it's this tradition of the Torah being handed on between generations. That's what we're supposed to imagine in Pirkei Avot, chapter 1. What we see in the symbols, we see this is a scale representing justice, right? This is a clock, a sand, what's it called?
Hourglass.
Hourglass. In Hebrew, you call it she'on chol. She'on chol, she'on is a clock of sand. She'on chol, clock of sand. So in my brain, it's a sand clock. That's what we call it in Hebrew. This is the Torah, as we said. This is another little image of the Torah right there. It's a scroll. And around the Torah is a fence. Okay, that's an image.
Yes, I remember that. No, that's
an
good.
image we're going to call up in a minute. The Torah itself is described to us as a tree of life. So these trees, the two bushes for trees, represent probably two things. Number one is the bush that's burning on the mountain where Moses was called to service of God. So the fiery bush, the burning bush. And the other is Torah as a tree of life. And then this is just an image of the Torah. Okay, and then we have this famous statement by Hillel, if not now, when? And that became a symbol of rabbinic Judaism. Okay? All right, so that's what we're going to cover basically as an outline in image form. If somebody else pops up on the screen, Jonathan, on stage, can you put them on stage so I don't have to keep my eyes over there? All right, so one more thing before we begin. I've kind of recommended to everyone that you get your hands on this book. Let me pull myself up. This right here, if you can't see it, it's the Koren version of Pirkei Avot. I think everybody on screen's got it, right? You guys both have it.
Yes,
yeah, it's an excellent copy of Pirkei Avot. So if you open that one up to page 3, okay, it starts with Perek Rishon. That is chapter 1, the first chapter, and it says at the very top, what we have on the screen here at the bottom, where it says Sanhedrin 90a. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Okay, it says all Israel, they have a portion or a share for the world to come. Okay, this is a blessing over the people that's mentioned in Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin is one of the tractates of the Talmud. I don't know if we should go over the structure of Mishnah versus Gemara versus Talmud and the two different Talmudim that exist. I don't know how interesting that would be to the audience, but if it's something you want to cover, we can go over it. We could look at a page of the Shas, the standard edition of the Talmud, if you're interested. The second thing, these are two things that we say before reading a chapter of Pirkei Avot. The second is, Ve'amech kulam tzadikim le'olam yirshu aretz netzer mata'ai ma'asei yadai li'itba'er. So it says, and your people, it's speaking in the feminine, probably because it's talking to Jerusalem. Your people, all of them are righteous. Forever will they inherit the earth. Okay, le'olam yirshu aretz, they will inherit the earth forever. Netzer mata'ai, it's a branch of my planting. Ma'asei yadai, the act of my hands. In other words, I made them. Lehitba'er, and this gives the purpose for God's creating Israel, is to be glorified among Israel. To be glorified. Lehitba'er. Okay, so that's at the top of page 3. And then there's a little commentary, the first paragraph at the bottom, which I've copied onto here. And it says, all Israel have a share in the world to come. When Pirkei Avot is read according to the custom of studying one chapter per week on the Shabbats between Pesach and Shavuot, or between Pesach and Rosh Hashanah, which is most of the year, that's the spring until the fall. There are different traditions about when you study Pirkei Avot. Each chapter is introduced by the above passage. Well, it's the below passage and how I put it together. This places the ritual reading into spiritual context. By studying Pirkei Avot, people learn righteousness and will gain a worthy portion in the world to come. So it should be our goal, I think, not necessarily to become more religious, but to become more minded of gratefulness and how, not only gratefulness, but also justice and how we treat one another. So I hope as we read together that we will find some principles that have meaning for us that we can adopt into our daily lives. This is the text of Pirkei Avot, chapter 1, and we're going to start with the first verse. So this is the background for the whole idea of the oral Torah. And who would like to read?
I guess I'll go.
Yes.
So Moshe kibel Torah miSinai umasara lihoshua vihoshua lizkinim uzikinim linviim uneviim masaruha la'anshe knesset hagudola hem amaru shlosha devarim hevu matunim badin badin. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Moses received Torah from Sinai, and he gave it to the.
Well, you didn't finish yet.
Oh, what? Oh, do I not? Oh, did I not?
Two more lines.
Oh, sorry.
Va'amidu
talmidim harbe va'asu siyag l'Torah. Oh, that's the fence. Yeah.
Okay. What's that mean? Let's start with this.
Moses received Torah from Sinai.
Yeah. Okay. Is that something that that people generally agree with regarding the biblical story?
The Ten Commandments from Sinai. So
Yeah. And the Ten Commandments represent Torat Adonai, right? Torat Adonai, that is the teaching or instruction of God, which came to be called Torat Moshe, because Moses is the one who received it. Right? Torat Moshe. All right. So basically, the story of the Bible is very clear that Moses received Torah from Sinai, from Mount Sinai, right? That's absolutely clear in the Bible. Okay, good. All right, next slide.
and he handed it to Joshua.
Okay, what do we've got? Okay, first let's ask what this verb is. Kibel.
To receive, isn't that from Aramaic?
It is in
Kibel.
Aramaic.
It is in Aramaic. It's not from Aramaic. Actually, this is a really old Semitic root, the Kuf Bet Lamed, and what do you call a noun of surmise? If you surmise something, then you have it looks like it should be surmission, but that's not a word, is it? Surmission.
As far as I know.
A denominative?
How about we say assumption? The assumption of lexicographers today is that this word existed in ancient Hebrew and that it was eventually replaced in usage by, maybe I'll open my notes to put them on the screen whenever I'm talking about things.
Lakach. Yeah.
It was replaced by lakach. Mm-hmm. Here these are the notes that I made for to share with readers who might people who might.
I got these bad boys.
Screen.
I got these bad boys open on the other screen right now.
Yeah. So this I just read through the text and I took notes as I was reading. If I can get it to respond, it's not responding. Boom, boom, boom. I want it to make the text big, and it's not. I have to wait.
Oh no, the program's crashing.
Yeah, my computer's old. What can I do?
You need a new one.
I do. My next purchase is going to be a Macintosh computer, so I can get away from Windows that constantly crashes on me.
You can teach me how to use Hebrew with it.
Once I learn it.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that now it's gonna
If you do, you should just get a Mac Mini. They're less expensive.
Yeah, but isn't it like stationary, like a desktop?
You have to have an external screen. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. So first one, it says lekabel is to receive from the root kuf bet lamed in the PL. Compare it to lakachat, which is for lakach, right, in the kal, to take. So in the Bible, you don't have the word lekabel until we get to the Aramaic texts. So I wanted to point out real quick the opposition we have here between lekabel, to receive, and limsor, to pass on or transmit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, you would compare it to the words to give or to lehavir, latet or lehavir. Lehavir is to make it pass it to someone else. So limsor is like you hand it to the next person. In modern Hebrew, one of the available words for a text message is mesiron, because you moser.
The connection to the Masorah and the Masoretes is helpful too.
Yes, of course. Masorah is a tradition, and Masoret. Masoret is tradition generally, and Masorah is specifically the tradition of the Masoretes, Masoretic tradition. Specifically the Masorah Tana and the Masorah Gdola, or Hawa and Magna from the Latin tradition. So what is the point of this? Lekabel and Limsor are opposites. If Masoret is the tradition, Masoret, and a traditional Jew or conservative Jew is called Masorti, what would we say is Kabbalah? We have Kabbalah, receiving, and Masoret, pass it on, Sira. What is Kabbalah?
Kabbalah, a reception.
Kabbalah is receiving. It's a received tradition. This is the idea that there was a mystical aspect to the tradition that was handed down, according to Orthodox Jews generally, from the time of Abraham. Abraham is very famous in the mystical tradition. They say that he wrote a book called Sefer Yetzirah. I think that we're on good grounds to say Moses or Abraham did not write that book, but that's the Kabbalistic tradition. So anyway, what we see here in the very beginning of Pirkei Avot is the use of this idea of kibel. He received it from God, and masal, he passed it on to the next generation. Because not only do you receive teaching, if you receive it and you don't pass it on, if you're not acting as a sieve that filters out bad information and passes on the good to the next generation, then you're selfish. So the idea is you must receive it and pass it on, just like Moses received it and gave it to Joshua. Of course, the verb here is masar, and when you add the a for Torah, the feminine, it, then the accent shifts to the end. This is the near syllable, the distant syllable, and that reduces to shva, mesara. Okay, mesara, he passed it on. And who did he pass it on to? His servant. Okay, and what did Joshua do with it?
Joshua passed it to the elders.
Yep. Where is the verb?
It's implied.
And what would that verb be?
Well,
Mesara. Mesara.
yeah.
He passed it on. V'Yoshua mesara lizkenim. Lizkenim. If we're just looking at the text and we see only consonants, why wouldn't we say lazkinim for definite, to the elders? V'Yoshua lazkenim. Why do we have to say lazkenim? Why don't we have that?
I don't know, and I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that my text was pointed when I did this.
They probably didn't.
So so it's probably something that you could do. It's probably a distinction you could make.
Well, it's because of this. This is indefinite and this is indefinite, so I would point at both of these being indefinite. Right?
Okay.
But remember that definiteness, especially when we're dealing with Aramaic, and the people who were writing this level, this period of Hebrew, had more of a relationship to Aramaic, I would say, than they did to Hebrew. But especially in Aramaic, remember, definiteness is not definiteness. It's the emphatic state, not the definite state. And so we tend to think of the emphatic state in Aramaic as definite, but that's not necessarily how we should relate to it. And so there might be something here that where when we just say zkenim, elders, it means the elders. And nevi'im would just be the prophets, you know. So that's what we've got going. Joshua, misara, to the elders. And the elders, what verb is missing? It's not misara, because that's singular. He did it. It's
Masaru.
This misaruha. Okay, masru ota. They passed it on. So that's what's missing right here, this verb. Misaruha linvi'im unvi'im misaruha la'anshei knesset hagedola. And there's a problem here in agreement also in Mishnaic Hebrew, Rabbinic Hebrew.
I think it's just one of those things that it can do, though. Like, I think one of the things we talked about was that it can be definite, but it doesn't always have to be definite to be definite. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That
There
was
is a
horribly
book
worded.
by Miguel Fernandez Perez, I think. You know, the Rabbinic Hebrew?
Oh yeah. The grammar,
Yes, a
right?
grammar of biblical Rabbinic Hebrew
Mhm.
by, I think it's Miguel Perez Fernandez or Fernandez Perez, I don't
Something
know
like
which
that.
first, but it's been translated into English. And we studied through it here on the Hebrew Cafe a long time
Yeah.
ago during COVID.
Perez Fernandez.
Yeah, and one of the principles that he mentions, and there's a distinction between biblical Hebrew and Mishnaic Hebrew, Rabbinic Hebrew, is that the noun in a noun-adjective pair doesn't have to be definite. It doesn't have to be written with the definite article. So this is kind of like what we have above with Skenim and Nevi'im, and now we have Knesset, and it means Ha-Knesset, Hagdolah. In biblical Hebrew and modern Hebrew would have the definite article. By the way, in modern Hebrew, Knesset is our parliamentary body, our legislature. So Knesset Agdolah, what is this Anshe Knesset Agdolah? You guys, is it familiar to you?
And it's familiar because I read your notes.
Mm.
I didn't know the phrase. I didn't know the phrase before that.
All right, well, let's look at what it put here. So Knesset Agdolah, I put the hay in front of it. From the verb lechanes, which is the PL of kenes, right? To gather together, to gather a group of people. The Great Assembly is what it is called. This refers to the assembly of teachers that formed when the people returned from Babylonian exile. So around 500 BC, like 450, which was composed of some 120 leaders of the people and included Ezra, Nehemiah, Zerubbabel, and Shimon HaTzadik. This is the one that we read about just a second ago. Not much is known about this group, but they are mentioned several times in the Mishnah. It's not a lot known about them, but they instituted great religious reforms. Why? Well, before the Babylonian exile, the people had a big problem with idolatry, and the religion was focused on the temple cult and sacrifices. But when they came back from exile, they had changed some things where religion was more internalized. And it was more important what you believed than it had been in the past. So it became more individual. So they were more, they focused more on study and learning and implementation of what you learn.
Mhm.
So they made some major religious renovations and improvements, I guess they would say, when they came back. And this was the men of the Great Assembly who instituted these reformations. Okay? So the men of the Great Assembly, they, hem amru, shlosha dvarim. Right, Jonathan?
Yes. Upon three things the world stands.
Oh, hold on.
Or
Hem
they
amru,
said,
shlosha dvarim.
sorry, I was looking at the wrong part. They said three things. Be
Mhm.
careful in judgment, or you
Okay,
like
so
to
what is
say
this? What is
deliberate.
this hevu?
It's hayu.
Heyu.
Yeah,
Heyu.
hayu.
It's an imperative, be, and it's in the plural. Okay, do we know any words, maybe in modern Hebrew, that are related to matan? Matan, this root.
Matana.
Okay, you would think so. But notice with matana, there's a dagesh in the taf, because the dagesh
Okay,
stands for the noon that's been assimilated.
that's
The
fair.
word that we have in modern Hebrew is himtin. Himtin. Have you learned this? Lahamtin.
I don't think so.
Okay, so lahamtin means to wait. To
Ah,
wait.
okay.
Ani mamtin lecha. I'm waiting for you. Mamtin. So if mamtin in the hifil is to wait, matun means that it's slow. You're slow and you're taking your time and you're deliberate, like you're waiting. You're not rushing. Okay? So hevu metunim badin. Be slow, be deliberate, be Don't rush in judgment when you're judging a case. Remember, this Mishnah is not talking to the common man. The Mishnah is laying out how you decide the oral Torah for rabbis, for leaders of the people, for judges among the people. So when it says be deliberate in judgment, it's talking to the leaders of the people, telling them not to judge a case too quickly. We're going to see a couple other verses here in the first chapter that are talking specifically about how you should behave when you're judging cases between people. Okay, so hevu metunim badin. What's the next one?
V'ha'amidu talmidim harbe. Raise up many students.
Yeah, so we would normally today put harbe before the noun, harbe talmidim. Or if it's after, instead of harbe, we're going to say rabim. Ha'amidu talmidim rabim. Like raise up or cause to stand many students, many disciples, right? Talmidim is also disciples and also students. Okay? Ha'amidu talmidim rabim. And finally, their last of the three principles.
Va'asu sayag l'Torah. Make a fence for the Torah.
Right. So if the Torah says don't eat or don't cook a kid in its mother's milk, then you make a fence. Why do you make a fence?
Make it harder to sin.
Yeah. I put that in the notes. Let me throw that up because there's a relevant verse in the beginning of Tractate Brachot. Where did I put that? I don't know. In the beginning of Tractate Brachot, which is one of the tractates of the Mishnah, we should know that the Mishnah is the base text of the Talmud. And I'll show you real quick. Okay, Mishnah. Okay, the first tractate of the first order. The first order is called Zeraim. First tractate is called Brachot. And this is how it opens. I know this looks weird to you because of the double yuds and all this, but let's see what it says. Me'ematai korin et shma ba'aravin. Aravin is Aravim in the evenings. Like from when do you read the Shema in the evenings? משעה שהכהנים נכנסים לאכול בתרומתן, עד סוף האשמורת הראשונה, דברי רבי אליעזר. So Rabbi Eliezer says from the time when the priests enter to eat from their truma, the donated portion, until the end of the first watch of the night. These are what Rabbi Eliezer said. V'chachamim omrin ad chatzot. The sages, the rabbis, basically say until midnight. And Rabban Gamliel, this is Gamliel, Omer, ad she'aleh amud hashachar, until the sun comes up in the morning. Okay, so what's the difference? Why is the Rabbi Eliezer says till the end of the first watch? That means by, I guess, like 3 hours into the evening. Once the evening is started, you've got 3 hours. The sages say until midnight, which they give you a little bit more of leeway. And then the Rabban Gamliel doesn't say until midnight. He says until the rising of the dawn column, the column of the dawn, the first ray of dawn in the morning. So why are there three different opinions? He says, Maaseh. Okay, this is a practical example. Maaseh sheba'u banav mibeit hamishte. His children came. This is the children of Rabban Gamliel. His children came from a feast, maybe a wedding celebration or something. V'amru lo, and they said to him, Lo karinu et Shema. We haven't read the Shema, because you have to read the Shema 3 times a day. Amar lahem, he said to them, Im lo ala amud hashachar mutarin aten likro.
Jason, we have an interesting comment from Adele.
Okay. Ser la Torah to me means it's sacred, not for the common. No, That's not what it means, but I'll show you in a second. So he says, if
Interesting
the sun hasn't come up, then you are still allowed to read, to recite. I think the Tosefta does not say mutarin, ela chayavin. You have to. If the sun hasn't come up, you are still obligated to recite it. And then is the principle is given. This is the principle that I want to get to and why it is. These two verses. So he says, Velo zo bilvad, not only this, ela kol she'amru chachamim ad chatzot, everything that sages said is until midnight, mitzvatan ad sheyaleh amud hashachar. The commandment for it is until the sun comes up. This is hekter halavin ve'ebarim. It's the burning of fats and certain organs and sacrifices. Mitzvatan ad sheyaleh amud hashachar. It's the commandment is until the sun comes up in the morning. But the rabbi said until midnight. Kol hanechalim leyom echad mitzvatan ad sheyaleh amud hashachar. Everything that's supposed to be eaten on the same day in a commandment, it's until the sun comes up in the morning. So if that's the case, if that's the case, if so, lama amru chachamim ad chatzot. Why did the sages say up until midnight? Ela kedei la'archik et ha'adam min ha'avera. So the only reason that they said until midnight was in order to keep man far from transgression, far from violation of the law. So if the sages said that it's until sun up, and then you go to sleep thinking it's okay, I'll wake up at 5 o'clock and I'll fulfill my obligation, then you sleep in and you forget and you don't fulfill your obligation, the sages have allowed you to violate the Torah by saying that you could do it until you get up in the morning at sunup. And then you missed sunup and you missed your obligation. So instead of doing that, they say until midnight, because midnight will give you a cutoff time and you don't go to bed thinking that it's okay, I'll do it in the morning. So the obligation of the Torah is to do it until the morning, but you put a fence around the Torah to keep people far away from violating it. By creating a law that's more stringent, less easily violable. It's easier to violate a law whenever it's just itself, but when you add protections for it, it becomes more difficult to violate, and therefore you put a protective fence around it. And these are three principles of the Great Assembly, the men of the Great Assembly. Be slow in deciding judgment. Raise up a lot of students that will also learn from you, pass on what you know, and keep men away from violating the Torah by instituting restrictions that will make them be more careful rather than less careful. Okay, so these are the principles that we're going to be operating on as we get into the whole idea of the Mishnah. Okay? Wow, I feel like I'm preaching.
You are. We are 40 minutes in almost.
And Colton is starting verse 2.
I guess I'm starting verse 2.
Well, before we started, Adel, I hope that made sense. I know that it would make you feel good to say that it's a fence means you put it a protective boundary around it so people don't step on it. And I guess it's true, but stepping on it in this case means violating and breaking the law specifically. So, okay, go ahead, Colton.
Do you want to address anything that Marcelo said earlier either?
Oh, I'm sorry. He says he sees the first part's about anger. Good, maybe I can learn something. I think we can all learn something from Pirkei Avot. And maybe someday we can look at Mesilat Yesharim, which I think is an amazing ethical text. But Mesilat Yesharim is taught in all yeshivas for young guys who are learning Torah. Help your brothers in their needs, pass it on, live for yourself. Live for yourself.
I think
You
that's
will-
the song he's
Pass it
talking
on.
about.
Live for
part of that
yourself,
song.
you will live in vain. Live for others, you will live again. In the
so that's an
kingdom of
if
God.
statement. If you live for
Yeah.
yourself, you will live in vain. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you living in the kingdom of Jah, man shall reign? See, I don't know Bob Marley at all. So to me, that's
Yeah.
Or
But he
talking
says
about
that part of the
violating
song
things.
Yeah. You're just saying the passing from the to the elders bit. Reminds me of another, but yeah. Okay. Sure. Shimon HaTzadik היה היה משיירי כנסת הגדולה. הוא היה אומר על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
I hope you recognize that the reason that I wanted just to cover one chapter before October 13th is because we're going to take our time with this. So,
Yeah.
first of all, because most people here haven't studied Mishneh Hebrew, and so it's introducing a new dialect, I guess. And secondly, because there is a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So Simon the Just.
Okay, let's stop real quick with that. Shimon HaTzadik, Simon the Just, or Simeon the Just. The New Testament has a lot of names for the followers of Jesus, and one of them is Shimon, right? Simeon.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Simon is Peter.
Simon Peter. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Simon Peter. So in Hebrew his name is Shimon, and in Greek they say his name was Petros. So Shimon, there's another one in the New Testament that with Christian tradition is called Hatzadik. You remember who that was?
James
the Just.
Mm-hmm.
This is not James, the brother of Jesus, right? This is James, the son of Zebedee, the brother of John, right? Am I wrong? Oh no, James the Just is the brother of Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that is correct.
It is that's the traditional understanding of who James the Just is. Yes.
Yeah. And so Shimon HaTzadik bears this name in the same way that Yaakov HaTzadik, James the Just, would bear that moniker. Yeah. They called him James the Just or HaTzadik because he spent so much time in the temple precinct on his knees in prayer. James the Just was actually venerated not only among Christians early on, but he had a reputation.
Mm-hmm. If I remember right, the leader of the Yachad, the Qumran community, is called the Hatzadik, the righteous one.
I think it was called the righteous teacher, which would be Moreh Tzedek, the teacher of righteousness.
Either way, it is very much a term of veneration, like of respect. It is.
And remember the Sadducees were the ones in charge of the temple service during that time, and they were called Bnei Tzadok, or Tzadukim. So these are all of this is related.
I thought that was because they were traced their lineage to Zadok.
Tzadok, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe, but I don't think that they operated just by lineage. I think it was also a thing you could convert into.
Yeah. I got you.
Anyway, so let's keep going from Shimon HaTzadik. Haya.
Haya Mishayare Knesset. He was from the okay. I should have recognized the word. Well, it looks funny. From the remainder of the assembly.
Yeah, and from the remainders of it, or the remnants of the Great Assembly, it means the last ones, the last people who belong to the Great Assembly. Mm-hmm. In biblical Hebrew and modern Hebrew, instead of sheyar, it's she'ar. Mm-hmm. She'ar with aleph. She'ar instead of sheyar. This form feels very difficult to say. Sheyar. If you know modern Hebrew, you might relate it to niyar. Niyar meaning paper. Yao. So it's Shiyao. Okay. All right.
Okay.
What is this?
Huaya Omer. It seems like a past progressive to me. He would say, like he was saying, like a past habitual.
Hayaomer is it's a potential tense.
Okay.
Potential meaning would.
It makes me feel good because I've never seen that before.
That's actually how we translated it in class.
Yeah, he would say, or he used to say, if you had $1 million, what would you do? What would you do? It's hypothetical, potential, could be habitual past. So what would you do? Ma hayita ose, ma hayita ose im $1,000,000. What would you do with $1 million? Ma hayita ose $1,000,000. So huaya omer, he would say, or he used to say. This is basically, he's known for saying. This is how people remembered his teaching.
Yeah. On three things, the world stands.
The world stands on three things. What are those three things? That if these things didn't exist, the world would no longer stand, right?
Yeah. The Torah and the work. Assuming this
what
is
work
like
specifically?
Good works. Like works of the Torah. The
Mishpat
and Tzedakah.
charitable works.
Well, the avodah is specifically the service in the temple.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Religious service.
Yeah, and then al gimilut chasadim. That would be righteous. Some things. Gimilut.
It's the performance of kindnesses.
There's the good deeds. That's the charitable works. There we go.
Yeah,
charity, yes.
Yeah.
So Torah, the temple service where you serve God by giving. So Torah is Torah is the tradition of learning and repetition. So it's in your mind. The service is the temple where you give God your gifts. And then performance of kind deeds is how you relate to your fellow man.
Head, heart, hands.
If you don't have these three, what's that?
In Christian parlance, we'd say head, heart, hands.
Head, heart, hands. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my seminary's motto, where head and heart go hand in hand.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
It used to be. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be the Hebrew Union College, the seminary?
No, that's not Hebrew Union. Well, it would be a good motto for Hebrew Union College. But
Asbury, right?
Asbury, yeah. Where head and heart go hand in hand.
That's very cool.
I think they've changed it since then.
Yeah. We in the synagogue where I used to attend in the States, this was part of the service that we would pray. We say, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. Like this is so it's something you would pray every Shabbat and it just sits into you. Gmilut. What is gmilut? Good question. That is not a word that I know outside of this context. Gmilah with a hay on the end means withdrawal or rehab. When you go to rehab and try to stop drinking alcohol, but it could be withdrawal, like the symptoms that you feel when you stop drinking. It can also refer to a baby when it stops eating its mother's milk. Weaning gmila. But gmilut is, remember in the song of Moses, I think on the sea, where he says gamaltanu, and it means that you paid us, like you treated us in a certain way. I'm trying to open logos, and then I'll be able to.
Yeah,
show.
it's actually that root for the do or to show is pretty. It's pretty extensive. It's in Genesis 50, 15, where with Joseph's brothers realizing that their father was dead. Joseph's brothers said, "What if Joseph still bear a grudge against us and pays us back in full for all that wrong that we did to him?" So it's one of those two did words, apparently. But Proverbs, 1 Samuel has.
So this, if you look at this one, this is 1 Samuel 1:24. This is where it's used as weaning. Gemalathu, she weaned him. Right? When she had weaned him, she took blah blah. Let's go up and see what we find with Gamalta. Tigmol, maybe? Tigmol. Tigmalenu.
There's apparently an occurrence of it in 1 Samuel 24:18.
Okay, here we go. Deuteronomy 32:6. This is the good one. Do you thus repay the Lord, O foolish and senseless people? Repay. To repay someone. Okay, to give somebody payment for their deeds. So gmilut chasadim is the payment of kindnesses. But I think it's even when they don't deserve it, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be kindnesses. John, you've heard that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
John.
No, I never.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, hello, John.
Hey, how you doing? I was waiting for a link.
I'm sorry, I was really late about it because I had a volunteer thing that I did from 4 to 8. And then a friend sent a message saying, "Hey, I'm coming in from Jerusalem. Do you want to have dinner?" So we went to the sea and we had sushi, and then I got back here at 11:30, and we started 12.
Oh, I didn't miss that much. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually looked up Gemilut and Jastro, and it's formed from the word Gimel Mem Lamed, which means to repay, to wean, to ripen. But when paired with Chesed, it means loyalty, kindness, mercy. So I guess deeds of kindness.
Yeah, and in the time of the Mishnah also, the word righteousness, tzedakah, changed semantic ranges, so that in the Bible it meant righteousness, but by the time of the Mishnah it means charity. Because giving charity is how you express your righteousness, by trying to take care of the poor. And charity is not like giving to the synagogue. Charity is giving to poor people to help them live. Anyway, here we go. Verse 3. John, you want to read that one?
Sure. Antiochus, Ish Saf.
No, not Antiochus. Antigonus.
Oh yeah,
Antigonus.
Okay. Antigonus, Ish Socho, Kibel, Mishmon, Mishmon, okay, Hatzadik. Hu Haya Omer, Al Tiyu Ka'avadim Hamshamshin Et Harav Al Mana the Kabel
Almanat.
Almanat. What did I say?
Almanat.
All right, Almanat Lekabel Peros Paras. Okay, Paras Elah Hevu Ka'avadim Hamshamshin Et Harav.
Hamshamshin.
Say again.
Hamshamshin.
Oh, so it's vocal? Hamshamshim? Hamshamshim, okay. Et Harav Shelo Al Minat Lekabel Paras Vayehi Mora Shemayim Al Alechem.
So this is Vihi. No Vayehi, Vihi.
Vihi.
Vihi Mora Shemayim Alechem.
All right, always lose my glasses. Okay. So that's Antigonus. Should I try my best? Do my thing here? Okay. Antigonus, a man from Sochi, revealed
Soho.
from
We should. Antigonus is obviously a
Soho.
Latin name, right? That's from Latin.
Antigonus?
Antigonus. We're going to find that in Mishnaic Hebrew, we have influences coming from all over the place. We had these things that we didn't even comment on already. Hold on. We did comment about Knesset Hakdola and how it's lacking the article in HaKnesset. We didn't talk about. I thought that we had an instance of it, but I guess we didn't, so we didn't need to talk about it. That's fine. But the plural ending im in Hebrew is often replaced with in, like we have here.
In?
Mishamshin is mishamshim.
That's like Aramaic.
Yeah, it's from Aramaic. It's pulled in. So we have influences in the Mishnaic Hebrew from Latin, Greek, and Aramaic. So that
I think
makes
Antigonus is
Mishnaic Hebrew
a
fun.
Greek name.
Antigonus?
Yeah, I think.
But by this
like
point, it was
Antigone.
probably. Yeah, you're right. It's probably Greek.
Yeah.
Good.
right.
So Antigonus, a man of Soho,
Received from Shimon the righteous.
what did he receive?
He received the oral tradition.
The oral tradition, the Torah. Mhm.
And he used to, or he would say,
Mhm.
let you not be like the servants.
Is it the servants? Ka'avadim is the servants, or just like servants or like slaves? Do not be like.
Well, there's a patach there, so I just thought it would be like it would, the ha was subsumed. No.
Well, the here is actually because you can't have two shvas side by side.
Oh, okay, I see.
So it's the common vowel of this.
Got it.
The article here would be kamatz, because the dagesh would be rejected by the guttural, and this would undergo compensatory lengthening.
Yeah.
Compensatory lengthening. So this is actually not the article. So
Okay.
do not be like slaves who.
I couldn't find anything.
The shamish is to serve.
Shamish. Yeah,
Serve.
like in the synagogue. Okay. I looked that up. I couldn't find it anywhere.
So don't be like slaves that serve et harav.
For evil. For
Yeah.
They serve.
Something like for a large.
Rav means great.
Yeah,
So
he
Rav
got it.
means master.
Right. So it's for
From
a large.
Aramaic, Rav is master.
Your go-to dictionary for this is going to be Jastro too, by the way. You're
Yeah,
right.
I know,
look
but
at
I can't.
Jastro.
The thing is a monster, and
Yeah.
the print is like minuscule, and I'm 71. So
You can get it for
Also-
logos.
So Rav means master, as opposed to Eved, slave.
Right.
In Aramaic, we have the expression from the Quran, Rabba al-Lamin. That is the master of the ages, the master of the worlds. And so Rav here, but this is where we got the idea of rabbi. Rabbi, it means my master, my great one. Okay, so don't be like slaves that serve the master. Al menat lekabel pras. Al menat. Al menat means in order to.
Wow.
In order to. And it
To
comes with an
receive
infinitive.
a portion.
In order to
Reward.
receive a reward.
All right.
Okay, don't be like slaves that serve the master in order to receive a reward.
But be like servants who serve the master, and do not expect, or in order not to receive a reward.
Okay, be like servants that serve the master, that not in order to receive a reward. Vihi mora shamayim alechem.
And let
Vihi is,
fear of heaven be upon you.
yes, let the fear of
Mola.
heaven be upon you. Mola from Yare, Yare. Fear of heaven. Heaven is it's not, it doesn't really mean heaven. You're not supposed to fear the sky. Heaven means God. Fear of God. Heaven is a circumlocution. Circumlocution for God. Why does the New Testament sometimes say the kingdom of God and sometimes say the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God is the same thing. Heaven means God. And this is just because, remember that there was an aversion to saying God's name. And so instead of saying God, you would replace it with heaven. Okay? You could replace it also with Hamakom. Hamakom, the place. Another word to say God is to say Hamakom, the place, because God is the place in which existence plays out.
Is the tetragrammaton used at all in this?
No. You won't use the tetragrammaton. By the time of this writing, they had basically outlawed it being written outside of religious texts, like the Bible itself, for almost 300 years. So, all right, we are 1 minute over our time. I hope that this was enjoyable. This is definitely a different direction for us, but I think that you'll see that the Hebrew of the Mishnah, at least in this part, is something that you can understand, and I hope that will encourage you. All right. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in the composition session.
So I just want to make sure for the next class you'll be sending a link.
It's already posted on Patreon.
All right, I'm a technological troglodyte. I'll figure it out.
All right, it's posted, right? I mean, I posted the links for both.
It's on
All
there.
right, I'll check out Patreon, and I don't know, I'll figure it out. Thank you very much. I really like Pirkei Avot.
Me too. We'll see you guys.
Adele, can we go a little slower? Are you serious?
I thought we covered 3 verses.
We're gonna need to go faster if we want to cover this whole chapter in a month, or else we'll be on it for like 3 or 4.
It's just 18 verses, and I think there is some repetition in there. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in a minute.
Hopefully, it wasn't serious.